Okay. Let's go. Welcome back to Two Plant-Based Brothers. I am William the teacher, and this is my brother.
Dan Nordic Beard on the trail. I don't know if you saw me, but I was doing air keys, even though it's completely a guitar
You were
playing.
doing air keys to a guitar. Okay, yeah, but this is air.
How was it?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, as you guys can see, I am bundled up. This episode has nothing to do with San Diego State University Aztecs. I'm just keeping warm because it is January. We are
January.
in 2026. It is cold here in Southern California, but a lot warmer than it is in other places. However, it's a little chilly. And it's this time of year. We talked last week about goals, our personal goals for 2026, and things we're going to do in the year going forward. And I know a lot of people do this. A
Yep.
lot of people do what they call New Year's resolutions or things like that. I mean, I like to just think of them as goals, having goals, and not like putting the word resolution on it, but whatever, to each their own, whatever they want to do. But what has been, I would say, Daniel, I mean, you could correct me, been trending
Hmm.
recently in the last few years is in the month of January. People will try to adopt a plant-based diet.
Yep.
Have you heard of this before?
I have, and I believe they call it Veganuary.
Good. I wanted you to say it first, so I led you into that. But yeah, happy Veganuary out there. And I know that we talk about a variety of different things on this show and hopefully hitting people with a few different things. But there could be people out there this January who are going to be searching for some content on
Hmm.
how they can accomplish this goal of, adopting a plant-based diet at least for the month of January
Right.
2026. So let's get to it. We've been through this before, and we've talked about this in a variety of different contexts. But yeah, I do have to admit that I'm not 100% plant based. But you know, the goal for 2026 is to get more, not necessarily 100% plant based, but to be more whole foods diet,
Whole
right?
Foods. Right.
To be a closer to a whole foods diet and still be closer to maybe 98%, 96%, whatever.
Mm.
But most of the food I take being from plant sources.
Right.
And so, for you, if you're just getting started on this, you might, where do I begin? Where do I start? Well, what you do is you go to Two Plant-Based Brothers, episode number 1, and you check out how we started. But we'll give you a few tips on how to get going and how you can
Right.
make Veganuary a successful time. So, Daniel, let's start off. What do you think people need to work on or need to think about when they start planning their Veganuary? And they're probably already into it, but
Yeah, totally already into it at this point in time. What are we, the first week of January?
yeah,
I think yeah, a week and a half at this point. But we're
yeah,
here to support you. If you are in that first week and a half and you're like, oh, that first week and a half was not too bad, but the second week was a lot harder. We're here.
yeah.
I would say for me, it's something to think about because it's colder, chillier out there this time of year. Soups. Soup broths, like something I know you do every single week is make your stock, right? Making your stock that can then be added to making soups, hearty soups. I think for me, the hardest thing when I first went, when it came to soups, like the hearty, creamy type soups, is
Mm,
hard. It's hard to stay away from, but I think it's also easy to do alternatives out there for something creamy, for instance. I'm a big curry fan. I love
hmm
anything kind of like Indian spices, Indian curries in particular, and coconut milk is something that's easily added to a curry that makes it just thicker, creamier, and it's non-dairy. And then chopping up some, grilling up some tofu to add in there, some tofu chunks that give you some extra protein of sorts. And then any kind of vegetables like cauliflower, sweet potatoes, all those root vegetables too. This time of year, squash, butternut squash, like those things can easily be made into nice hearty soups this time of year that can help out. That's what initially comes to my mind in January.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I have been over the past few weeks or so really d- I've I need a past participle for dive. I mean, I've dived.
I think it's regular in the past participle.
Yeah, I've dived into, that sounds so weird. Lentils, red
Mm.
lentils, split red lentils.
Well, good.
Been cooking a lot of lentils, and you may remember when I talked about the soup I made with lentils, but you
Yeah.
get those lentils, you cook them and blend them up. It is really creamy. It
Yeah.
can be very creamy, and I definitely add curry powder and things
Mhm.
like that to kind of give it that flavor. But I love, just using sweet potatoes and these kinds of things in a
Mhm.
puree of sorts to kind of thicken things up, if you will. But you can do a lot of different things. But I love this time of year just going with some, root vegetables. Sweet potatoes are my go-to,
Mhm.
and just throwing them in the toaster oven. Once again, I'm
Right.
cooking for myself, guys. I'm just I make
Mhm.
my own thing. So just put a little bit of, maybe a little spray or a little oil, and then salt and pepper. Let them go.
Yeah, simple,
Great.
easy. Let them go. They're ready. You have them as a whole meal sometimes, doing it. And have you ever added? You could try doing this if you haven't, just to make it even more like I guess a filling meal of like just a sweet potato. Is just also putting in the oven chickpeas or garbanzo beans. So straining those, drying them out. If you have the actual dried garbanzo beans, you have to soak them overnight. But if you have them from the can, throwing them in the oven. Salt and pepper, you can also get crazy with seasoning too if you want to do cumin, cinnamon, right? Because cinnamon I think is really great on sweet potatoes.
Mhm.
And then adding that on top of the sweet potato, I think is really good and just kind of eating it together. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
easy.
mean I mentioned this a little bit last year. Is That's pretty much my standard winter dinner is a sweet potato with my beans.
Hmm.
Usually my beans are black beans and garbanzo beans that I make, from dried beans, and I cook
Hmm.
them with my homemade veggie stock, which is,
Yeah.
very simple. It's no big deal, but yeah, that's a hearty meal and satisfying, and especially on a cold winter's night,
Hmm.
the way you want to go. And then, if you want, you could go back to other previous episodes we made about different influencers and things like that. But, Rainbow Plant Life, once again, quick shout
Hmm.
out, has a lot of great things, and she has many different things with chickpeas. I can guarantee that. And do you say chickpeas or garbanzo beans?
Sometimes I did both. I said both just in
Yeah,
case somebody chose one or the other. I think it's
yeah, I
it's
don't.
garbanzo beans on the can that I buy.
Yeah, so you buy them from the can.
Yeah, yeah, we do cans mostly because of the kids. Got to do something quick instead of soaking them. Could do the soak. I do have some dried ones in the cupboard, but yeah, mostly from the cans, just because they're super easy to cook up. Even in like a curry, like so, if you're doing like a curry base, which is usually going to be some sort of tomato, perhaps that you make it with tomatoes, some sort of stock, coconut milk, and then I've added garbanzo beans into that same thing, and I'll tend to also blend up my soups.
Mhm.
Mostly if I'm adding like onions and other kind of things in there that add flavor, mostly because the kids are so, I think they're on that texture train where it's like if it's like something, a vegetable in there that they can see with their eyes, they are automatically
No,
gonna like it. But then if I blend it up and I make it and it's like Flavor Town, and maybe that's trademark, but I'm
I
gonna
hope
say
not. We don't have the money to pay off a
Guy
certain.
Fieri.
Don't say his name.
I said it already. Anyway, it's
A
Flavor
certain.
Town for them. They like it. They taste it. After they taste one bite, then they realize, oh, this is really good. Dad knows how to cook. This is really tasty. And it's like, it's such an easy meal, right? Of just getting it on the stove, cooking down, and then throwing it into, we have a Vitamix, which could be a sponsor of the show. Happy to have them. Great blender. And then it blends it all up nicely. And then adding the coconut milk, as I said, to make it heartier and thicker.
Yeah, and you're pumping up Vitamix. I'll pump up my Instant Pot. Once again, great for making
Yeah.
beans, soups, stews. It's a pressure cooker, but you can use it as a slow cooker. I mean, you can use it a
Mhm.
variety of different ways. You can actually saute right in it, but I like to
Mhm.
use my saute pan for that. But
Mhm.
so for the people who are, there's just so many different things out there as far as recipes go and things that you can try.
Mhm.
But I think that as we approach, as this gets released on January 9th, right, there could
Mhm.
be people who've got into it like really like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then maybe by week two, they're kind of like, I'm kind of bored, right?
Right.
So what's your advice on how they can kind of, pep something up or try something different?
Spice, switching up with different spices. That could be the same type of vegetable or that you're using or base and using it and just switching up, the different spice. I know for me, I don't like eating the same thing every single day, so I'm constantly changing up my meals. I don't really do a whole lot of meal prep.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll eat it for 2 or 3 days, but like 4 or 5 days in a row of the same thing, yeah, I can't do it. So just kind of switching it up, is most you can make a base of something like your stock, for instance, and then
Hmm.
kind of be able to use that in different variety of ways. I think is best thing. Also, eating out, right, which is still happens occasionally. It may be scary for a lot of people go when they
Hmm.
first go vegan of like, oh crap, I can't eat at this restaurant, but we're eating this here for January for whatever reason. Or I was even thinking like this is like playoff football time people who go out to eat or watch the playoffs and football games, things like that. That also could be a hard scene for people going vegan because there's usually not a lot of options, especially if it's like a friend's party or family party, that sort of thing. So bringing your own food, just being prepared to just try it and be committed for 1 month. I commend everyone who actually does it because I know from experience it's not easy in a social setting. And I know you choose kind of the whatever the percentage of plant-based when you're out and about. But I also know you're not going to any football game parties.
No, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't care
Yeah.
about the playoffs, but generally I do watch the Super Bowl, and
Mhm. Okay.
we generally, my wife and I will have a variety of different dips. It's chips and
Mhm.
dips, and you can really buy a lot of really good stuff, and it's processed, and you don't want to live
Mhm.
off of this. And that's the thing that we've talked about before is
Mhm.
going
Right.
just with Beyond Burgers or finding the plant-based sausages or
Mhm.
the different frozen goods you can find, or even, your, let's say fake, but fake cheeses, fake sour
Yeah.
cream. You can find it all. If you want to live it
Yeah.
up at the Super Bowl party and you want to have plant-based nachos, you can do it. It's
Yeah, you
really
can.
not hard. If you want to make it yourself, I mean, it's a little bit more intensive, but there's something. If you are someone who really enjoys preparing things,
Right.
check out the cashew cream nacho cheese recipes. And you can eat things that aren't so healthy for you
Yeah.
if you're feeling that withdrawal. And once again, if you're feeling withdrawal about having beef or pork or chicken, you can find other things to substitute.
Yeah.
Right, readily available in your grocery aisle,
Right.
and that'll get you through Veganuary.
Hmm.
But for long term, if you're struggling after a week or two, try to take a look at different things that you can make and you can prepare and find a real love and passion for different flavors. And I highly recommend really just going down that YouTube rabbit hole and looking at the different recipes that are out there and ways that you can make things, plant-based and better for you. And once again, there's something that you should do as you're going through. Check on how you're feeling, see how everything's
Hmm.
going, and be careful about eating too much fiber. I mean, when you get that heavy vegetable diet, sometimes you can get a little over fiber, and that can cause some
Hmm.
little bit of intestine issues, if you will,
Hmm.
especially if your body's not used to it. But I think that you're going to feel better. And I know that once again. So my brief part of my story is I did this for Lent, right?
Hmm.
And I never went back to meat. I haven't had a piece of meat in years. So it's something to where maybe you don't stay plant-based 100%, but
Hmm.
you could think about the things that you're doing for yourself and for your health and for your wallet a lot of times,
Hmm. Yeah.
especially if you can find a way to eat off of vegetables and beans and things like this. Lentils are not expensive.
No.
Dry beans are not expensive.
Yep.
Generally, produce is a lot more. It's a lot cheaper than
Right.
going down and buying that big old hunk of beef. right? And
Speaking of that, because we
yeah.
bought some carne asada for the family because we did taco bar for Christmas this past year.
Oh wow,
And
we did.
and when I saw the price on that thing when my wife picked it up, I was like, "Holy cow!" Pun intended. It was like I was like, "This is how much meat is," and it was like this little tiny like package of carne asada. I was just so surprised how much it is. So William is completely right. It's so much more affordable when you're not eating out and you're not buying the vegan version of things. The vegan version things are more expensive than the non-vegan ones. So that
Mhm.
is where you can easily get your wallet hit on those things. And I'll just mention a condiment of choice for me that I like that makes it just like because I usually eat a lot of things in a burrito or a taco
Mhm.
is making the vegan ranch is just like my top topping of like sauce, especially because I can't do a whole lot of spicy right now.
Yeah.
And that's very simple recipe of cashews, a little bit of white vinegar, lemon juice, and then seasoning. So I think I use parsley, salt, pepper, onion, powdered garlic powder, and that's it. And it's so good. The kids love it. They'll dip like carrots in it. They'll eat vegetables with that ranch. They'll also have it like on their food. So sorts of like there's other things like if you can make a couple condiments non-vegan too, I find that's very helpful.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
think, in my opinion, I think it's easier to go vegetarian, harder when you start implementing the no dairy and no
Mhm.
animal products for sure for things like that.
Yeah, but there's always a way around it, and
Yep.
there's always a recipe or something that you can find. So, I mean, for me personally, it's just like I just love salsa. I mean, and that
Hmm.
is just you're not going to find many
Non-vegan salsas.
non-plant-based salsa.
Yeah.
I mean, who eats salsa with a hunk of meat or in it or anything else,
Right.
you know? I mean, guacamole is just delicious. I mean, you can find so many wonderful things you can do with some
Yeah.
tomatoes and some onions and some cilantro, jalapenos, avocados. There's just so many
Yeah.
wonderful things, and you can mix it up. I've been doing recently on some eggplant, and the eggplant's been great. They were really cheap the other day at the store, like 50 cents for an eggplant. You know how much
Wow.
you get out of that, just slice it
Yeah,
up, put
that's
it in the
really big.
toaster oven, let it go.
Yeah.
Carrots, slice them up, put them in the toaster oven, let them go. Beets, slice them up, put them in the toaster oven, let them go. Just a little bit of
Yeah.
oil, salt, and pepper, and you're gonna love these vegetables. And there's so many different things that you can do: sweet potatoes, beets, eggplant, and carrots. Just love it. Go.
I am not a fan of eggplant.
Whoa.
I can't do it. However, there's been two occasions where I've been able to eat it. One is like using the eggplant as an alternative for noodles in a lasagna, and this was a vegan lasagna,
Okay.
which was super creative by my wife. The other one, I can eat it up and eat a boatload of it, and that's baba ganoush. And that is, yeah, and that's like charring the heck out of the
Mhm.
eggplant. Oh, the smoky flavor that comes through is absolutely delicious. But any other
I
way,
have
I
not
can't do
made
it.
that. Did you
You
make it?
should. Latanya did. My wife did. It's
Okay.
so good, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, baba ganoush. Nice
I don't know. I
alternative
mean,
again, like because I like hummus, right? Hummus is
oh
also
yeah.
another thing I love as a condiment too, and that's always going to be vegan too for the most part. I can't imagine not, but I'm just gonna say almost always, just in
Yeah.
case my oldest brother comes on and
Yeah.
says and corrects me about no, there's a non-vegan hummus out there. Anyways,
But what would they
uh,
put in that? I
I
mean,
have no idea. I'm just trying to
chorizo
hedge.
based hummus?
Yeah, something like that.
No,
But yeah,
but
hummus is also good, and baba ganoush I
yeah.
find very similar, but it's a different flavor, different texture too, because it's a little stringier, but really
Yeah.
delicious.
And then, once again, go out and, if you're a fan of certain cuisine, you're
Hmm.
definitely going to find it. Certain cuisines being just friendlier
Yeah,
to the plant-based, but you don't want to be eating, the same things all the time and say,
yeah.
oh, and get hooked up and be like, ugh, if I see another piece of tofu, I don't know what I'm going to do. But,
Hmm.
there are other things you can do as far as getting different things into your body and going with
Yeah.
a mixture of not having to make everything, but buying certain things. And as we've discussed before, there are many places that you can go, many restaurants who are adapting to this. And hopefully your favorite place that you like to go has certain options, so you're not just eating a side of broccoli.
Right.
And that's something that you can investigate before you go and stay
Mhm.
strong. And really, you can do it. I mean, at least for a month, and you know, you, who knows? Maybe it'll change your eating habits moving forward, or maybe
Mhm.
it's something that you'll continue on forever. But I think key point is that you want to introduce yourself to a variety of different um, foods, especially,
Mhm.
I do get in the habit of eating the same things over and over and over again. That's why I got to mix in,
Mhm.
the eggplant at this time of year, or the beets, or the lentils, or the sweet potatoes, and doing those in different stages, so 1 week this, 1 week
Mhm.
that, and going with that. But gosh, spices are important, and
Yeah.
finding different techniques to make it. If it's buying a Vitamix, if it is buying an Instant Pot, you're going to find yourself, the king of the kitchen or the queen of the kitchen, whatever you want to be. You can be both.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Mhm.
And cooking up some really good stuff, and really enjoy it. Enjoy this experiment, and really think about it. If you don't make it the whole month, okay, it happens. But it's something I don't want to preach, and I'm not going to preach. If this is something you decided to do, go for it, and you can do it. We believe in you.
We sure do. And we'll check in with you next week. See how you're doing.
Yeah. And feel free to leave a comment, tell us how you're doing, and say, oh, I missed Veganuary. I can't do anything in 2026. We'll try February, give
I was
February,
gonna be February.
February, Vagarch, April. Just go for it. Go crazy.
Why
You
not?
know, do it. Pick a day of the week. Meatless Mondays. Do something like that. And you're going to see an impact. I guarantee on how you feel. You're going to see an impact on your wallet. And guess it's something you're not probably going to see is an impact on the environment. Believe it or not,
Yep.
as long as you're not buying a bunch of packaged processed goods. But yeah, the production of animals in this country to be slaughtered is the cost. There's a serious carbon footprint, whether you believe me or not. It's true. You can Google it. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'll take the hate. Give me the dislike. It's fine. But everything, I believe it's a good move for you. So congratulations and thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
Peace.